Hey guys, Nara here. Welcome back to another Scratch tutorial. I'm going to try to take a break on the Destroy game for now. I'm going to come back to this clicker game. So if you haven't noticed, I've added a little bit, this little animation here basically. So it's pretty simple. So that's what we're going to start this video off with. So basically what it's doing is when you're clicking it, what's happening to Scratch? What is happening? Okay, when this sprite clicked, that's the normal size, whatever. But then you can broadcast a message. It doesn't need to be the word clicked, but basically you just go into this and you name it whatever you want. I named it clicked. It's pretty simple. And then all the stuff from last episode. So then when it comes over here, when I receive clicked, I make a clone of myself. So then you have to use the when I start as clone, which will be found in the control section. You're going to want to do hide, which will make it a clone. It'll hide. It'll go to the back of the screen. And then set ghost effect. So I don't know if I told you guys about ghost effect, but it'll basically just make it so it's kind of faded away. So let me just set it to 100 back again. Oh, no, not 100. Oops. 0. So here's 0. I am an actual moron. I need to put a change. Okay, so you don't necessarily need to do change because you're not going to be using this very often, but keep it 70. And then pixelate effect makes it kind of pixelated. You can probably imagine what it looks like. So I think I'm going to crank this up a little bit. Probably looks nice. And then set size to it's set size to 100%, but I'm going to do a random here. So some of them will vary in size. And then a turn thing, so it, kind of gives them a little bit of, turning action, I guess. And then from there, we're going to do show. Now, this is where this comes in. So, basically, it brings the Apple clone up to somewhere over here. So, between here, you have to kind of figure it out by, hovering your sprite over it, but, whatever. It's pretty simple. I think you guys can do it. You guys are pretty smart. And it chooses a random position somewhere up here, but it only changes the X position. It does not change the Y position, so it stays at the top. And then once it shows, it will repeat until it gets all the way to the bottom, go to back layer, turn a little bit, so it looks like it's falling and spiraling out of control, I guess. And then change the Y by 10, so it goes down slowly. So when this happens, it looks like this. Looks pretty cool. Actually, I think there's a limit on how many can show up on the screen at the same time, so I think that's why it's not really working over here when there's so many on the screen, but you get the idea. Also, I don't really remember there being a limit for that, but whatever. Okay, so that's like that. So far we've done this little animation here. So if you guys were wondering, if you wanted to do more upgrades, it's the same thing. You can do sad apple or something, right? And I'll just change it later, and you just change the variable. So sad apples. So you just move this over here. You just double click on this, and you move it down over here. Everything's good. You set this to this. So you're basically just using the same thing. It's just with different numbers, I guess. You're playing with different numbers and I guess different costumes and designs. So when I make my clickers, I usually do a whole bunch of different categories of stuff. But yeah, so it's not very hard to make all these different, let's see, 14. So it's not very hard to make all these extra little things. It's just you're going to have to mess with the different numbers. So if you see, if I make it, we'll Hatch, please work. Thank you. Okay. Sad apple costs like, let's say 150 apples actually. 150 sounds good. Then we'll give 3 apples per second because we like consistency. And over here, you're just gonna have to mess with this. 150 minus 149 equals 1, so you put 149. Actually, you probably don't do it that way. It's just how my brain works because it's stupid. My brain doesn't work the way I want it to, but whatever, it's okay. You just set this to sad apples per second by 3. Oops, not 4. Consistency. And then change apples by negative 150. And then you can wait, I guess, because that's always good. Now, when you have this, it's still a happy apple for some reason. Also, that may be a problem. I don't remember it. The Vario's always being on top. Okay, so let's just pretend that doesn't happen. And I guess you could always move them around. Like, I can move it like this. And I guess it would be a little bit more visual. No, it's not much more visual. It's actually kind of annoying. Okay, whatever. You can just mess with the different combinations. It doesn't really matter how you do it. Or you could have like one on this side, but it's okay. I'm fine having my variables overlapping on top of the text. That's perfectly fine. But yeah. So for the most part, that's all that is. Always remember to save. Don't forget to save. I've lost much data from not saving. That was pretty depressing. So yeah, like you're just basically just gonna wanna I guess if you wanna make a sad apple, poor sad apple, give him a tier too. Hear about that. How about that? I'll give it a tier. Let me just cut to when I'm done making this. It'll take a while. So I'm just going to be rambling a little bit for about 40 seconds because making this tier kind of takes a while, even on max speed. So thank you to everyone who's subscribing to the channel. And if you did make it this far, please like the video. It really helps a lot. I'm trying to grow to 1,000 subscribers. I know it's pretty high, but like I said in my last few videos, you gotta aim high. You're not going to make it. So thank you for everyone who's supporting me. You know that it's been through a lot, and my videos are actually getting slightly better, but not too much better. But thank you for everyone, once again, who's subscribing. Sorry for the sellout, but back to the video. So I've made my sad apple. I've given it a little tier using the reshaping feature, which I've really begun to love. Reshaping. I use it a lot for when I'm making my original art because it's not, circles and squares aren't cutting it for me. So save, however you're going to make this. Like I've made money clickers and crazy insane clickers with like categories. So yeah, this is just a short video. Just adding a few things to the clicker game. You can always add more if you want. You don't need to stick with just 2 upgrades and these annoying overlapping texts. Yeah, I don't really remember doing that in the first place. I think they changed that. But yeah. So if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like and subscribe. Comment if you want any more to see added. English, please. If you want to see more added to the clicker game. And yeah, so that's going to be all for today's video. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.